The European Union is to hold its third Eastern Partnership Summit later this month in Vilnius. What is this partnership about? The Eastern Partnership is derived in a way from the European Neighbourhood Policy, which dates from 2004. The date is significant. 2004 marks the enlargement of the EU to 10 countries, including 8 countries of Central and Eastern Europe. From 2009, the European Neighbourhood Policy developed a specific aspect concerning the eastern borders. The EU's Eastern policy relates to 6 countries that are all former Soviet socialist republics: Belarus, Ukraine, Moldova, but also in the Caucasus, Armenia, Azerbaijan and Georgia. The main issue is the eastern borders of the European Union, the areas between the EU and Russia. The idea is for every partner to play its own game. And what does the EU do in that respect? Well, the EU says primarily you will not access EU institutions. However, we're ready to support you, to help you, to fund you to adopt part of our acquis communautaire, or accumulated legislation, and to get closer to our standards. In fact, the underlying calculations divide the EU because if a country like France has no plans to integrate these countries to the EU, a country like Poland instead, or at least some of the components of the Polish political class, wouldn't mind seeing Ukraine, and why not one day Belarus, get closer to the EU. For Armenia, it would be Moldova. Partner countries are also on different wavelengths. For instance, Armenia is historically very close to Russia for a simple reason. Turkey is on the other side of the Armenian border. Under the outgoing president, Georgia was very close to the West in general, to NATO in particular, and to the EU by default. Azerbaijan is a country with huge oil resources, which obviously interests the EU. So the calculations are strategic and geopolitical. It's a question of power, and obviously it's about rubbing shoulders with Russia, which also has a culture of geopolitics, strategy and the balance of power. If you want to ask a question, go to the Euronews website or our social media pages.